According to the World Health Organization, 10 to 20% of adolescents have a mental health condition. Mental health is a huge issue in today's world, but mental health problems still tend to go undiagnosed and undertreated. Adolescents have to carry on with their everyday lives despite how they may be feeling on the inside. Showing up to school every day, ready to learn, and doing well in school is really hard enough for the average student. Just imagine how difficult that must be for students who are struggling with their mental health. I believe that schools should legally allow students to be absent for mental health reasons. Throughout my many years in school, I've had my own mental health struggles, and I know many of my friends and peers have as well. It's just a very common issue among youth and really everyone in today's society. I know how difficult it can be to function at school when your mental state isn't good. I've also taken a few psychology classes. I know a lot about mental health in general, and I just think it's a really important issue that we all need to be educated about and just be talking about. Most schools still don't allow mental health days. However, allowing them will benefit students and help to erase the stigma surrounding mental health. Now let's discuss why mental health days are so necessary. There is a growing need for mental health days, but most schools still do not allow them. Students are more stressed out than ever these days and struggle to cope with the stress of school. A study that was done by the APA asked students to rate their stress levels on a scale from 1 to 10. The average student rated the levels at a 5.8. Keep in mind that the average grown adult rated the levels at 3.8. Some schools are pushing towards mental health days, like Oregon and Utah, for example. Both of these states passed legislation that allows students to cite mental health as a valid reason for absence. But the reality is that most states still have not followed in their footsteps. The goal is for all states to implement mental health days and not just a few. This means that schools need to recognize mental health as a legitimate reason for missing school. Schools need to understand that mental health is a huge component of overall health. If a student's mental health is not good, they're not going to be doing well in school or just life in general. They really just need to understand that mental health is important as physical health and that it's a valid reason for missing school. This means that mental health should be added to the list of excusable absences, like what happened in Utah, for example. Utah legally added mental or behavioral health to the list of excusable absences, which is what I think all states should be doing. There are tons of benefits that come along with implementing mental health days. Adding mental health reasons to the list of excusable absences would benefit students with mental health issues and the entire student body in general. Being allowed to take a day off of school is better than coming to school unable to function. If a child is having a bad mental health day, they're going to go to school and have an even worse day. Taking a day off would allow them to recuperate and just get themselves back together so that when they come back to school, they can be doing well. Shelley Dry, who's an occupational therapist who works with school-age children, says, "School needs to recognize that sometimes it's better to take a mental health day than to push through when you cannot seem to cope." Recognizing mental health as an excusable absence will also help open up conversations about mental health in schools and mental health in general. People who struggle with mental health are sometimes viewed as like lazy, weak, or just less than. And I think that establishing mental health as a valid reason for missing school will help just somewhat erase some of the stigma and judgment surrounding it. It will also just open up conversations about mental health, which is really important. Mental health days are great for students and help spark important conversations. Mental health days should be recognized as an excusable absence. Seeing as the rate of mental health issues is so high here in America and just globally, it's highly likely that you yourself or somebody you know has struggled with mental health. If you yourself have, you know how difficult everyday tasks like school can be, but even if you haven't, it's important to have empathy and learn about what people are going through and just continue to talk about mental health and try to erase some of the stigma that surrounds it. One of the reasons I think that schools and society in general delegitimize mental illness is because it's invisible. It's really hard to recognize and understand sometimes. I'll leave you with this quote by Demi Lovato. "I wish people could understand that the brain is the most important organ of our body. Just because you can't see a mental illness, like you can see a broken bone, doesn't mean it's not as detrimental or devastating to a family or an individual."